Meowdy and welcome. My name's en-viss, my pronouns are they, them, and this is my YouTube channel, Sleepy Goblin Crafts, where I talk about all things cross-stitch related, and sometimes my other hobbies. I did say that I would be back in 2 to 3 weeks, and it has definitely not been that long. However, today is a special episode, because Monday, March 31st, is Trans Day of Visibility. So today I have a donation fundraiser that I'd like to talk to you guys about. Sit tight. It's going to be a mostly queer episode. Starting the episode off, we are going to start with finishes, which I just have the one, but it is my Stitch for Pride 2025 Chujin. I am doing this on the called for fabric, which is 18 count resistance by Mislaid Pages in the called for DMC, except for the border. I did this in 701. I'm doing all of like the extra motif parts, like different symbols in contrasting or at least different colors compared to what is called for. And Chujin is no different. So I considered doing it in a red, but I am not a person who thinks red and pink go well together, depending on the shades. And the called for pink, I don't remember the number off the top of my head. It's a very rosy pink. So there's only so many reds that I think could pair well with it, but I wanted the pattern done, and I knew that this green was going to work, so that's what I did. Moving right along into whips, I am participating in the Court of Crows SAL. And I am dumb. Stitch for Pride 2025 is being hosted by D's 20 Stitches. He is releasing every month a different figure from history that is trans, non-binary, either like two-spirit, gender non-conforming person who has made some impact in history. So it is not currently available for purchase. You had to order it. There was a pre-order back in December for it. But I do believe potentially, if you check out Dee's YouTube, they might be hosting a giveaway for last year's Stitch for Pride. Possibly this year's. Guess you'll just have to check his channel out. Anyway, I am participating in the Court of Crows Stitch Along. This is being done by Five Frog Stitching, and part 2 just came out. I'm gonna put a little image of this guy here. I love him, little jester guy. It's just a little guy, but currently it is in my, I have not started part 2 yet. I have only done the frames and part 1. So, hello Guinevere. Are you joining us? I have only done the frames and part 1, but this is my progress so far. Part 1 is the roses, the flowers here, and then the jester is going to be put in this frame. So I am doing this on 18 count on the called for color, which is Ka by Witch's Garden Crafts, and I am using the called for DMC. So I will likely start part 2 tonight. get started on stitching that silly boy. I don't know. I just think he looks neat. I think he's fun. The next whip I'm working on is technically one that I said I was not rushing to finish. And I wouldn't say that I'm rushing to finish it, but it is my focus. And there's a reason for that. It's related to my new start one of my new starts that I have that I will talk about later. But remember how I said that I wasn't in a rush to finish this? Well, I'm almost done with it. This is Witching Hour by Sprouting Lupine. I originally started this piece as a stitch along that is being hosted by Stitching Linguistics on Instagram. It's the Year of Nature Walk cell. Technically, when I joined that, the intention was to do like a motif a month, and that way I'd have it finished by like September. Well, instead, I kind of went ham and I finished this moth and I worked on mushroom. All that's left is the stalk and some of the flowers over here. And let me tell you, the colors on this pop. It's so pretty. I love it. It looks great. I love how it's turning out. This is being done on 14 count tarnished by Picture This Plus in the called for DMC. I am currently, markup says I am at 89.4% done. So almost 90%. So I will talk about why I am now focusing this, because not only am I working on Nature Walk, Witching Hour, I also decided to pull out Lover's Promenade, which I have not worked on since February. This is also a Sprouting Lupine pattern. I believe this is still a free pattern. She released this in February, and technically it's an extra part of the Nature Walk series. I had started this as a Valentine's Day start for myself, and originally I had only really worked on the mantis, the flower, like this part of the flower, these two fuchsias. I don't think these are fuchsias. This is a fuchsia. I worked on most of this fuchsia and some of these flowers. So I added in the green leaf here. I added in the rest of the red in the mantis, and I worked in the red in the top of the fuchsia. So this is the first project that I started to try linen on, and I am really enjoying it. This is 2/1 on 28 count mocha by BeStitchMe. And when I started this, when I picked this up from where I left off, I believe I was at like 15-ish%. And so I worked on this until I got to 30%. So I am at 31.29% now. And that makes me feel a lot better. Sprouting Lupine design number 2 is gonna continue to be a work in progress. I'm not gonna focus this currently. I'm probably just gonna pick it up now and then. I do enjoy working on this. So none of the back stitches in either. There's back stitching for the they're not stems, but like the little bits that come out of a flower. I know terminology. And the little antennae on the mantis. I didn't do that yet either, but this is definitely a learning curve for me because I'm not familiar with over 2 on linen, as we will continue to find out. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am doing that in the called for DMC as well. Now on to my starts that I currently have. And last time I saw you guys, I mentioned that I got my Nashville pre-orders in, which was mostly night garden stuff. And I had Sean help me pick which one to start. And he picked Stargazing by BeStitchMe. So I decided to start this on 16 count Banshee from Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is where I'm at. I am really enjoying working with the variegated thread. It has been a lot of fun. The way that I hope that maybe you can, yes, okay. The variegation in this green is so good. I love how it's looking. You can also really see in the stem of the mushroom the variegation, and the top of the mushroom, the way that the this light purple goes from light to dark. And also the needle minder that I got, which was designed, I believe, by Stitchy Pros. The needle minder and the needle, or not the needle, the floss drop, that's the crescent moon, that was, I believe, both designed by Stitchy Pros. So yeah, this is 16 count Banshee, and I might actually end up doing all of my night garden pieces on this fabric. I got a, is this a quarter? Yes. I got a fat quarter of this. So I should have, I mean, I only picked up 3 designs. I definitely want to do one of the free designs as well. So in total, there would be 5 that I would put on this fabric. And I think it's a like gray enough fabric, like a light gray with hints of blue and whatnot. But I think it contrasts the thread enough that it would work with most of the designs. So I'm working on this on and off. Like, I am not in any rush to complete it. Based off of the pattern, I mean, I literally just have this. So I'm making my way up and over. So the star of the show, the snail, he's going to be one of the last things that I work on, but he'll be worth it, I think. So that is start number 1. And start number 2 is a birthday start for Kansas City Stitcher Samantha. She is doing a stitch along, which is, I'll put it on the screen. It's KCB, no, sorry. It's Colorfully KCB Day Sal on Instagram, where you can do any of the Colorfully Sarah designs. I picked up a couple of Colorfully Sarah patterns when I first started stitching, and this is the one that I picked. I decided to start Pastel Potions, and I am really enjoying working on this one as well. It is a lot of fun. Her patterns are so cute. If you haven't checked out Colorfully Sarah, definitely give her shop a cursory glance at least, because they are very, very cute designs. This is being stitched with the called for DMC, and I am doing this on Isolde from also by Fabrics by Stephanie. Fabrics by Stephanie is one of the first fabrics, hand-dyed fabrics that I picked up, and I didn't anticipate doing 2 back-to-back projects on her fabrics, but they're very good fabrics. This is also 16 count. Because there are so many colors, well, I say so many, there's 24 colors in this pattern, I am using my Orange Long Cat floss drop that I picked up, and I used washi tape to put the DMC numbers on the back. So it doesn't go together like the styles, because this is a funky cat, and I would not describe Sarah's style as funky. But it's the only, I didn't want to make like a chain, like a ring chain of floss drops for this pattern, and this guy felt lonely, so I wanted to put something on him, and the pattern is exactly 24 colors, so it works out. I'm not gonna do that right now. And my last start that I have done recently is the reason for my 2 sprouting lupine whips. Is I started for the spring equinox, I started Nature's Journey. I love this. It's a very, very sad start because I was very busy the weekend that was the spring equinox, because I also wanted to start the pastel potions for the birthday sale for Kansas City Stitcher Samantha. And so I started this like late on Saturday. So it wasn't even technically a spring equinox start, but it was intended to be a spring equinox start. And it wouldn't even have worked out because I didn't get the fabric until Friday. So, and I also needed to still kit everything up because there is a lot of colors in this pattern, even for the spring portion alone. So I did that, but this is my start. This is my sad start. I had done most of the flower, the white and pink bits of the flower. I had done this flower, and or petal, I should say, and there's a petal over here. But I had to frog those because I was off. I just miscounted. But I am doing this on 32 count Cypress by Fiber on a Whim. So this is my first this is my first foray into 32 count. And the reason I'm doing 32 count is because this is a gigantic pattern. And if I wanted to do this on 28 count, I would have had to get like half a yard, I think, for it to fit. And I could have managed that. It would have been very cumbersome. So instead, I opted for a 32 count linen, and I'm still doing 2/1. And I am praying that my margins are enough. That's why I haven't taken it out of the Nerge hoop, because I'm afraid that I don't have enough. I'm afraid I don't have enough fabric. Literally, if I take, like, this is the bottom. When I use the calculator through 1, 2, 3 stitch, it said that I should have an inch at the bottom, but trying to get this into a hoop was a feat in and of itself. And so, like, technically in this corner, I gave myself like 2 inches. And I hope that's not gonna be a problem. And I'm not gonna, what causes me anxiety is I am not going to know if it's a problem until the fall portion is released, because the next portion will be the summer portion, and that's going across, which I have the excess fabric for the length tucked over, so it's going across. Oh, sorry for the light. It's kind of cloudy, but the sun keeps peeking out. It's going across. So I know I have enough fabric to go across. What I don't know is if I have enough fabric for the length. And I'm not gonna know if I messed up or not until, when does the fall issue come out? August? Because it comes out like a month before the actual season, I think. So yeah, I am very excited to work on this because I love the pattern so much. Like, this is a beautiful pattern by Sprouting Lupine. But this is, I literally started this and the next day I was like, shit, I have 3 Sprouting Lupine patterns. And like, I know that's not a problem. Plenty of people have multiple whips, multiple ongoing patterns by the same designer. So I know it's not like weird, but 3 just feels like a lot for some reason for me right now. And I think that's just because I'm like, there are so many other patterns that I also want to do, not just by Sprouting Lupine, but there are so many patterns that I'm like, 3 seems a little excessive, especially because I started Nature's Journey in December. Nature's Journey. This is Nature's Journey. Nature Walk Witching Hour. I started that in December, and then I started Lover's Promenade in February. So, either way, that's where I'm at on that. So let's move into plans, which also is part of why I am filming today and not in a week or so. And that is because I want to promote Bad Stitch's current fundraiser for Trans Lifeline. Amanda DeLong of Bad Stitch is currently hosting a fundraiser on her Tiltify, which I will link in my description, where if you donate at least $5, you will get access to this gorgeous pattern called Metamorphosis. And if you donate $15 to her campaign, you will not only get Metamorphosis, but you will get her 2024 and her 2023 patterns that she has designed for Trans Day of Visibility in years past. So, I wanted to make sure that I got this video out in time to give you guys enough time to go and support her campaign, because it is only through March 31st. The campaign ends at midnight on April 1st, which is Tuesday. So you have the weekend, essentially, to donate at least $5, and you can donate more, but it's at least $5 for the one pattern, and then it's at least $15 for the 3 patterns. And she'll email you the patterns within 24 hours. So if you are able, please check out her campaign on Tiltify. As a queer person living in the US, it is very important to me that my peers, my trans peers, are able to get access to important things. Trans Lifeline, and make sure that's possible. They kind of similar to how like the Trevor Project and organizations like that work. They focus, though, primarily on trans people who are in crisis or are in situations that are like threatening. So given the atmosphere of our current administration, Trans Lifeline is literally a lifeline for many queer and trans people who need help. So if you are able to donate to the cause, that'd be fantastic. If not, you can always help Amanda promote her campaign by following her on her Instagram. You can also go and follow her Substack. She has a Patreon, I believe, and share the campaign information through her social media, because that at least gets the word out. If you're not able to donate, sharing, liking, all of that engagement really does help. So please consider at least donating $5. You're going to get a fucking beautiful design out of it, and you're also going to help trans folks in need. That is my soapbox, and I'm going to start Metamorphosis on March 31st for Trans Day of Visibility. I am probably going to be using colors from Stash. I don't think I have the exact colors needed for this pattern, but it's going to get started one way or another, I think. I saw the preview image of the little caterpillar, and I was like, oh, it's a little baby bug. I love him. But the pattern itself is gorgeous, so very excited to work on that. Other plans include finishing Witching Hour so that I can move on with my life and move on to continue working on Nature's Journey with a clear mind, I guess, clear my conscience of having too many other sprouting lupine patterns, even though it's just one less. And I still have Lover's Promenade, but I will probably work on that as well. I'm definitely going to be working on part 2 of Court of Crows, as well as probably Stargazing and maybe some other older whips like Pixel Prelude. That's been like itching in the back of my mind to get some progress on it, because literally it's just, I just did the White of the Dragon. That was it. So I definitely want to get some work done on that. Oh, right. My birthday start. Duh. For my birthday, I am going to be starting Plants and Petrichor, which is another Fine Frog stitching pattern. This one feels slightly different than my the internal struggle I'm having with sprouting lupine, because Court of Crows is a stitch along, so that's going to be released consecutively, and I'm going to be keeping up with that. The sprouting lupine patterns, I don't have really a stitch along to go along with them. Technically, Nature's Journey is a stitch along, but it's a big stitch along. This is a monstrous pattern. Like, it is huge. So, like, it technically is a stitch along because the first part is the spring part that's released, and then the second part's going to be summer, fall, winter, so on and so forth. But Court of Crows is a little bit more manageable because it's in these bite sizes for the next, I think, month and a half. 2 months. I think it goes through April. So either way, that is much more manageable than just having 3 freestanding patterns. So I am starting Plants and Petrichor. I am very excited. The moment I saw this pattern, I was like in love with it. And I think Stephanie had just finished the stitch along for that when I saw it, because I think it was back in November sometime, which is when I started stitching. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. I'm going to stitch this someday. Birthday starts are a thing. So I'm holding true to my first words to myself, and this is going to be my birthday start. I might have one other birthday start that might just be smaller. We'll see. We'll see. There's so many patterns that I'm like, oh, I want to start this. Oh, I want to start that. And I mean, I talked about that a little bit in my previous video. So Plants and Petrichor for sure, though, is going to be a birthday start for me on April 8th. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't really have much else to talk about, actually. The only other thing I really have to talk about is a very, very small haul, which is more stitchy kindness, because Grace stopped at a estate sale a couple of weeks ago, I want to say, and she picked up a literal box of floss, all kinds of floss, at this estate sale. She was kind enough to gift me all of the DMC. It is a metric shit ton of DMC. I sorted it this last week. It's all vintage. I say vintage. It's all older skeins, because most of them have like the old style of numbers on it, like the way that they are on the bottom. Like newer skeins have that, but just the way that it's like yellow and stuff. The person that she got this from must have been interested in doing a red sampler, because I have no reason to own 17 skeins of 815, but I do now. At least it's a nice shade of red. I'm not a red sampler person, but this is at least a nice shade of red. And based off of the colors that are in here, I'm not going to dig all of them out. It took like 2 hours to sort through all of this, which I know is not a lot, but it felt like a lot. Based on the colors, the person I feel like was either working, like, kitting up like a Teresa Winsler or like some sort of like older design, because there's a lot of like muted greens and browns in here. I'm not complaining. I know dye lots have changed over the years, and I've just told myself that if I'm gonna do like a sampler or something, or like a pattern that I'm not like pressed about having match exactly, I'm probably gonna go start with these and go from there. I am fucking set for life on 815 though. There's also, I think there's like a green in here. What is this? Can I pull it out without losing the tag? Yes. Yes, I can. What is it? There's a ton of... No, that's 520. There wasn't a ton of 520. I can't remember which green, but it was like in the 3000s. But, yeah. I appreciate Grace so much for picking that up for me. Other than that, I really have only been, like, other category, insert here, I really haven't been doing much else, you guys. I've mostly been stitching, just as a way to decompress from the day. The horrors continue, and though I persist, I really haven't been playing games outside of my dailies and like Marvel Rivals with Sean. Though, I do have to say, thank you so much for 30 followers. I don't know what to say. I don't know, 30 isn't a lot, but it feels like a lot for me. Little old me started 2 months ago, like posting 2 months ago, so thank you, truly. Outside of that, this is definitely one of my shorter videos, so I appreciate you guys for sticking around, hanging out, listening to me ramble about being queer and all of that. Like, I know it's rough for a lot of us right now, so thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. If you are new here and you like what I have to offer, I hope you consider subscribing or at least liking the video so I maybe show up later in your life. And if you are a returning subscriber, again, thank you so much for 30 of you guys following me. It really does mean a lot. With that being said, probably gonna be 2 to 3 weeks until the next time I see you guys. I was not really prepared to post something so quickly again, but that's okay. I can adjust, obviously. So I'll probably see you guys sometime mid-April. It'll definitely be after my birthday. So hopefully I will have my birthday start to show you. I'll have a couple of other finishes for you guys, and we will talk more then. Take care. Be well. Bye. Let's get started, shall we? However, today is a special episode because on Monday, it's special episode is being... Can I please have a cognizant accountant? Poppy! Because Monday, March 31st, can't talk. Hosted and designed by... I didn't even fucking talk about...